Okay, so I forgot.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming. We are here to have our first meeting of your road project within your neighborhood. You all are in District 2 neighborhood. And my name is Jennifer Huffmeister. I work for WGI, and I'm head of the public outreach, sort of the coordinator. So within each of the 4 districts within Lake Worth, part of the neighborhood road program, each of the districts have a public outreach coordinator who handles only those projects within that district. And I oversee and coordinate, make sure that everything is consistent throughout those districts.
What's WGI?
Watman Group. So that is the firm that I work for. And
You're hired by the city? Or?
yes, we are all hired by the city. We're all consultants. So I'm going to introduce the engineer of record for your project, and this is Rebecca Travis, and she is the engineer, and with her, Courtney Marshall. And they're going to explain the project, what is going to be taking place here within this coming year. This is the kickoff for your project. We also have Felipe and Jamie here with staff with our public involvement or public services department for the city of Lake Worth.
All right, as Jennifer mentioned, I'm with Matthews Consulting. We're the engineering firm that is doing the design, and we'll be doing construction administration, assisting the city on that for District 2. So this project, as with most of the other projects within the city, the goal is to identify the pavement that needs to be typically milled and overlaid, so we look at the condition of the pavement in the area. We also look at the condition of the curb and the sidewalk, and then the signage, the traffic volumes, whether there's needs to be traffic calming, and then if there's some utilities such as water main replacement or sewer work that needs to be done based on studies that have been completed under separate contracts for the city in the past, then those are identified and we roll it all together so we get all the improvements done at one time rather than do a road and then come back and rip it up and put the water main in. That wouldn't make any sense. So these roads have been identified for year 2 out of 4 years of the bond report. So they've been identified in the bond report based on their pavement condition, basically. And we're already into year 2. We did another project previously for year 1, which was down on 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th Avenue North, between A and G. So we did that already. That's getting ready to go to construction soon. So now we're just starting the design. You might have seen the surveyors out in your neighborhood, as you mentioned, spray paint and stuff that they've picked up with the survey. That'll wear off. Won't be there. It's not regular spray paint, but it looks like it when it first goes on there. So the streets that are included in this part of the project, and you should have all gotten a notice, and we listed all the streets, but I'll kind of go over more specifically what the plan is for each of the streets. So as I said, we'll be doing mill and overlay, where we grind up the top inch of the asphalt and then lay a new asphalt layer down. Sidewalk repairs, we're going to only repair broken sidewalk and do ADA accessible ramps with those domed mats. So they'll have the yellow domed mat at the intersections of the sidewalk with the roadway, and any curb that's broken. We'll replace any crosswalk striping that needs to be replaced after we do. If we mill it up, obviously the stripes are gone, so we'll put whatever was there back. And typically street signage, so new stop signs, new street name signs, new dead end sign, new. We'll have signs at the end of the streets that are dead ends that have reflectors on them so that people know they're dead end. And, you know, a lot of times signs were placed years ago and somebody ran their car into it, or somebody decided they wanted a sign on their bedroom wall at home. Who knows what the heck happened to it? So that's why we'll be going through and replacing signs that no longer have the adequate reflectivity as well, and then signs that should have been replaced. So we'll have all that taken care of. So we'll start up here on the north end of the project. So 18th Avenue North, we'll be doing a new 8-inch water main along that road, extending basically from Dixie Highway west. Will be running under the tracks with the new water main and past probably the power yard, the
D Street.
not even to the next street, just basically till we get past the substation or in front of the substation on the new water main. And then anybody that has water main that's or water services, a lot of people you're talking before, a lot of people have water services off maybe like a 2-inch water main that's behind in the alley behind their house. And the city can't access those lines because there's no way to drive back there. People have maybe taken over, putting fences or sheds or something or whatever on the easement, so the city can't access it anymore. And a 2-inch line is too small to support fire hydrants. You need at least a 6-inch line to support a fire hydrant to have enough capacity to fight a fire. So the city's moving, as they go through these different projects, if there's a water main that needs to be moved to the street, they're doing that, hooking everybody up, so your water service, your water meter will come to the front of the house at the street, and they'll re-hook you up. So that's on 18th, we'll be doing that. We'll be moving the rear yard services to the front with the new water main.
You realize that that entire neighborhood is people who don't own it. You know, they're renters,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like 75 renters there. And so the whole street is going to be completely redone for that? I mean, am I going to be able to get out of my street?
Oh, okay, yes. Any construction project, the contractor's required to provide you with a means of egress and ingress. And as the design engineer, we also come up with a plan for how we want that to happen. And we tell the contractor, okay, you can only close one half of the street at a time, and then at the end of the night you have to cover over the trench, and it might be Shell Rock Road, but you'll be able to drive on it. And we've done many projects where we've had a dead-end street where there's no turnaround, there's no, oh, go down to this street for the night and come walk back to your house, you know. No, we don't do that. We make sure that the contractor has to make sure the garbage can get there, the mail delivery. If we had a project where a woman had to go to dialysis every day. We made sure that could happen. I mean, you'll be taken care of, and specifically we'll have another meeting before construction starts where we'll tell you what's going to happen, when the time frame is. The contractor's required to put door hangers on your house to say, okay, we're going to be in front of your house tomorrow or 2 days from now or whatever, and has this phone number you can call. We'll have a designated person from the contractor, from the engineer's office, from the city. You'll have plenty of ways to, you know, say, I have an issue here. I need you to make sure this, you know, doesn't put me in a bind. So, you know, we'll certainly work with anybody with special circumstances or just regular, I got to get to my house and get home from work. You know, so, yeah, we'll make sure that, they have to maintain, fire trucks have to still be able to get to your house, all that. So we'll make sure that happens. It might not be a brand new paved thing, it might be a rock road for, you know, a week or two, but,
Do,
yeah, so, we'll make sure that's all worked out. That's part of our, public involvement that Jennifer helps with as well, so. So then let's move over to 19th Avenue North. So we're going to, this might be a little bit delayed on the project as a whole because, as you might know, this vacant area over here is being developed by a private developer. So, and they're required, as part of their improvements, to run water main and sewer to serve their system and get it tied in with the city system. So the city is still, as part of the bond program, going to do the road improvements. But we need to make sure that the developer puts the sewer and water in first, and then we'll come back and do the road improvements. So that schedule might be a little bit off from the rest of this project. But again, we're gonna move rear yard water services over to the new water main that the developer puts in. We'll be hooking up sewer laterals to the sewer that he's going to be putting in there. And that'll all be coordinated on 19th. Then Florida Street or Florida Avenue, I keep seeing it's both ways. I'm not sure which one's the right one, but between 20th Avenue North and 23rd Avenue North, that is basically kind of an alleyway behind the businesses that front Dixie. And it's just a two-way drive lane. There's no sidewalk on there. People's fences kind of come right up to the edge of pavement, or their little retaining walls or their power poles. So that one is not going to be a standard full cross section there. We're not going to do curb. We're not going to do sidewalk there because we're just replacing what's there. But we will be milling and overlaying that segment. We're going to design it so that hopefully we can have overland flow to run into the existing drainage inlets that are on 22nd, where we have 20th, 21st, and 22nd. We have existing drainage inlets. So we'll try and slope the pavement to get it to go into the drainage inlets. We don't have any water sewer improvements on that road at all there. 14th Avenue North, right here over between the sound wall of I-95 and to Clark Lane. So this was added to the project because we need to move 5 water services for the houses on the south side to the front, to the water main in the front. So we're just milling and overlaying, like 3 blocks basically. We'll be doing any sidewalk repair, I don't think we have any curb. Can't remember on that one for sure, but we'll be looking at the condition of everything and replacing what needs to be replaced. And then Crestwood, which is 1 block south from A to I-95 sound wall, that has a new water main, a new 6-inch water main. We'll be moving the water services from the rear to the front, doing any curb and sidewalk repair there. And then 8th Avenue North from Dixie to G Street. That's just going to be any curb repair, sidewalk repair, mill and overlay. No water main, no sewer replacement there. And I also forgot to mention, if there's a driveway apron in the right-of-way, so from the, not into your property, not the driveway into your property, but from back of the sidewalk into the street, if it's all cracked and broken, or if it's an asphalt one and it's cracked and broken, and grass growing through it or whatever, we'll replace those. but we're not gonna go into your house. You might have terrible, driveway up to your garage, but we're not doing anything with that. It's just in the public right of way that we'll be replacing the aprons there. That's on any of the streets. So now F Street, we're extending from Lucerne up to 11th. We're skipping 3rd to 4th because the pavement condition for that one block was found to be in pretty good condition. So I guess that was done with another project, I think, maybe in the more recent times. I'm not sure why that ended up not making the cut for the bond. But so on F, we're going to be doing milling and overlaying. There's going to be some areas where if you have some drainage ponding at the curb, or maybe we need to cut in a new drainage inlet and tie it into the existing system. This is probably the only street that we anticipate adding drainage inlets. Pretty much all the other areas we either can direct the flow to the inlets already, or the slope of the road is good enough that it runs off. We're just trying to fix problem areas on F. New curb where required, new sidewalk where required, and then we have a new water main going in on F between 5th and 10th Avenue North. We won't be doing any work in the intersection of 10th Avenue North or 6th Avenue North. Those are county rights of way. The city's not going to spend money to do work there. The county's responsible for that. And then also we've done a traffic analysis to determine whether there's problems with speeding on these streets. Many of them are dead ends, as you know, so we're not concerned about that. So primarily we looked at F as whether that needed any kind of traffic calming. And we found that there was no need for to address speeding. Not to say no one ever speeds there, but didn't meet the minimum level of number of cars speeding. However, we are adding stop conditions, or ensuring there's a stop condition at 5th Avenue North and F, and 7th Avenue North and F, based on community comments. The other thing we're considering on F is, we know that, especially on the weekends, everyone parks on F Street, like bumper to bumper, start to finish. And when you're pulling up to the intersection, you can't see left and right to see if anybody's coming. So we're going to add some striping at the corners of F so that people can't park all the way up to the intersection. And then that'll let people be able to see.
Have you considered doing like a bulb out type thing that would actually definitely keep people from parking there unless they want to go up on a curb, or was it cost prohibitive?
Well, we have the bulb outs on
The east-west street.
east-west streets.
Okay.
So we'll have stop conditions east and west.
I'm not really thinking of it as a speeding or as a traffic control issue, right? But just something to kind of encapsulate the parking spaces at both ends of the block, because this being my neighborhood, and me being aware of how people, they just don't care, and so like the striping, while it will probably aid our PBSO guys in determining when people are parking places they're not supposed to be parking, I fear that people are going to park over the striping anyway.
We would also include signs so that they could be ticketed. consider that. There's, the other issue with the bulb outs is when we have streets that have very little slope to them, as F does. When you put the bulb outs in, then that requires a longer length for the drainage to go around the bulb out, which could possibly cause drainage problems. Plus, the majority of the inlets are on the curb line of F. So now if I have a bulb out, it's encompassing the inlet. With that said, we can see it, you know, if there are situations where we can accommodate bulb outs, we'll look at that. But there's reasons why we kind of discounted that idea. But we'll look at it because the inlets aren't always on F. Sometimes they're not, and we can look at that.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Commissioner, I'm sorry, I did not recognize.
You-
Yes, Commissioner Hardy's here,
Do the
so I
whole
apologize.
And I would certainly agree that bulb outs all along F Street would be wonderful. You know, since we don't have complete streets, we don't have swales, the things that we would love to have. At least those would give us a chance to get some trees from someone. And bulb outs can be done where the actual drainage goes in a trench between the bulb out, which is an island. So the drainage issue can be overcome. It's all a matter of expense.
Well, yes and no. Sometimes it's, if we do I know exactly what you're talking about with the trench behind the bulb out
Mhm.
that cuts through, because we're doing that on 2nd Avenue South. That's going to be reconstructed, and we've got that same situation. That, however, takes away from the area for the tree planting, the tree area. So, again, it's not impossible. It might work in some cases. So
But does the
we'll-
contract include any trees?
We are presenting tonight to just kind of get everybody's input, and we certainly take that as the input. You know, that's why we're here tonight, is to find out what is important to the residents, what you'd like to see. Of course, everything is limited to the budget, but we would, you know, we've discussed doing the bulb outs on F, and we've been back and forth on it because, you know, we would like to do the bulb outs. It's kind of a nice traffic calming feature. It's got beautification with the trees. You know, it's,
Clearly
yeah. And
a
so,
better alternative than
Yeah.
striping that really is.
yeah, so we certainly will look at that. That's,
Goes away.
I don't know why we're here tonight, is to get what it is that everyone would like to see, and we're trying to accommodate what we can.
Now, F Street, you say, is getting into a 6-inch or 8-inch water main. So that means that all of the metering will be on the street side now,
Yes.
on F Street from 2nd to 11th, or 5th to 11th, I guess.
Correct. For this, yeah, this project, the new water main is 5th to 10th. But I think the water main is, on the rest of that section, is in the front already. I think they're tying into
Now,
that.
because there are a lot of potholes on F that appear to me to be storm drainage issues that have created leakage into the drains.
Mhm.
So will the storm drains be rebuilt as well?
If it's found to have something that needs to be repaired, that the existing storm system has to be repaired, then we would, you know, look into that. I mean, we wouldn't fix the whole street up and then have a broken, but I don't think we have any indication,
Bless you.
bless you, that there's any
see any sinkholes or anything
There
indicative of
are some
infiltration.
that look to me to be issues with drainage.
Sure, we'll certainly look at them, TV the lines, see the condition of the pipe, and then make repairs as necessary prior to doing any road work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes there'll be a low point that maybe the water doesn't quite get to the inlet. It just starts and then just starts degrading the asphalt and then the pothole starts and it just keeps getting worse and worse. Yeah, so we would certainly fix that.
How far into the side streets does your contract take you? 20 feet from the center line or 30 feet or?
Well, for 2nd to 6th, we're doing under a previous contract, we're doing this cross streets. So those will be, we're doing bulb outs on the cross streets. Typically like at least 50 feet from the intersection of F either way. In some cases where the streets dead end going east of F, we're replacing some of that, but not in every case. Now when you get past 6th, again, that'll be 50 feet from center line each way.
50 feet.
50 feet from center line of that. Now, let's say we see this huge problem 70 feet over. Yeah, we'll fix, we'll extend it. I think we had the comment on the previous project where we're moving 6th and 3rd or 2nd. We're going over to the alley or we're going over to the railroad tracks.
Third would be all the way through, so it must be 4th.
Okay.
4th and 6th.
So we did extend it, just what I'm saying, like if there was a little bit further to fix some problem, we would take that and go do that extra bit.
I'm sorry. Could you go back to what you said about, you were just talking about the east-west streets just now, about extending potentially all the way to the railroad?
Yeah.
I remember initially those were not included in the, so did you guys
Right.
decide to go all the way?
On this, a couple of them, yes,
Okay.
based on comments received at that first meeting.
Thank you.
It's, to clarify, it's not all the way. It's about 50, 75 feet west of the alleyway. So it's not all the way to the end, it's a little bit just at the alleyway west. So it wasn't.
Well, yeah, in many cases, when the railroad did their improvements, as you know, they did an overlay east and west typically to the alley. So we're just filling that gap between where we originally were ending the contract to where the pavement is in good condition, so closing that gap. Yeah.
And I just want to clarify for anybody that wasn't at the meeting last week, that this is an overview of year 2. And in year 1, Tropical Ridge neighborhood is pretty much getting almost all their east-west streets redone to some capacity. So if you're going along F, every intersection is going to have bulb outs and 4 new trees, but on the east-west instead of on F Street. So every intersection is going to have that improvement. And
That's part of the bond issue.
that's part of the first year bond.
And that
And this
includes
is
9th,
second year.
for instance.
That's
No,
2nd
ninth
to
is
Only
6th.
to
is
6th.
unpaved.
Only to 6th.
That's on my agenda. That is, yeah, all the unpaved streets. I know we have some in Tropical Ridge. We have 2. One of them is being addressed with CDBG funds. 9th is on my list. It's really important, I think. And also, I think was 11th and 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are also unpaved. So you might want to, for example, in public comment, mention how there are some unpaved streets that maybe need to be addressed.
Okay.
This is public comment. There are some east-west streets.
Would it be 9th?
For 9th, the school buses go down 9th. And
Really?
On
Yeah.
unpaved sections?
Unpaved
Wow.
and enormous potholes, and the poor school bus just
Yeah.
joggles along there. So.
Need to get a different route.
8th, I understand, will be
Hopefully he's not on the school bus.
So 9th from what to what? JB, you probably.
8 to,
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the entire way.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Same with 8.
So-
Yeah, and as we kind of mentioned before in other meetings, with the bond program and with, so much of the city's infrastructure kind of being in disrepair, the bond program itself, we're focusing on currently paved roadways and the issues we have on those roadways. We realize we have a lot of east-west streets that are unimproved roadways, but instead of creating new roadways, we wanted to kind of fix the ones we have.
Gotcha.
Correct.
So where will the money come from for the 9th, for instance?
Commissioner Hardy?
We have a penny sales tax, right? And because other cities chose not to get it, we're actually getting some extra money. So that is, I think, the best source of funds to take care of those quickly. If we wait for CDBG funds to come in year by year, it's going to take a while to wait. It's been taking a while. But there are only like 2.5 miles left, I think, in the whole city of unpaved roadway. Now, there are lots of unpaved alleyways and easements and things like that, but a roadway, there are only 2.5 miles. And that's why I asked, if you're really interested, give public comment, because there are 4 other commissioners, and not all of them are on the same page when it comes to roads and even unpaved roads being a priority with that money.
11th, or F Street between 10th and 11th North.
Yes.
Special provisions, there's no mill and overlay there, it's solid concrete. It's 8 inches of concrete with a little bit of asphalt laid on top of it.
Yeah,
Is there something,
well, if it's asphalt,
no shell rock existence there? It's solid concrete.
okay.
Been that way since the day I
Yeah,
lived
I
there.
remember that in the geotech report. So, yeah, we'll
As far as.
we probably will still mill and overlay it back to asphalt, but I don't know. We have to think about that, because just because it's concrete doesn't mean it's to roadway standards either. So I'm thinking it was 4-inch thick concrete. Now, you're saying it's much, much more?
Oh yeah, I've been through it.
Okay. Well, we'll have to look at that, and I don't know
Yeah.
that I have an answer for you on that right now, but.
Yeah, well, everything ties together with the curb pieces that are in sections, and
Right.
it's not new roadway construction, that's been there for a lot of years. And as far as the program that came out for all the traffic that was done several years back, and we came down to meetings for about the speeding and the traffic and problems, somehow along the way, F Street between 10th and 13th got neglected, and it got pushed over to G Street for a traffic problem between 10th and 13th. I don't know who wound up with it or even where that study went.
And this was a traffic study that was done?
Yes.
And how long ago do you think it was? How many years ago?
Wasn't that long ago. It was since 10th Avenue was rebuilt. Because since they rebuilt 10th Avenue and closed off all the streets where people can't turn into every block, F Street has turned into a major freeway.
I believe that was done back in 2009 or 10. It wouldn't have been after 2010, because it was completely a year before I got here, and I got here in 2011.
Well, there was, they sent us out papers, and they had where they were looking to do some traffic calming, and they kind of missed the block that they were working on.
I can, because those projects for 6th and 10th, those were CRA projects. I can get with Joan over for CRA and see what traffic studies were done back then, because we pretty much got a copy of everything that's been done, so I'm not sure which one that is. But we'll look into it if it was part of the whole 10th Avenue.
Because we've sent in so many petitions, talk to commissioners, not you yet. Sign stuff, they suggested we go down and get neighbors to sign and, you know, for the speeding problem or whatever on the street. About zero result on.
Jamie?
Yes, sir.
Could you, it's been a while since I read it and looked at it, but you sent me kind of like a draft of a policy we might be coming out with as far as people who have traffic issues. and
Yeah, the traffic
issues.
policy. Yep.
Could you, I guess, maybe go into a little bit the process and the steps for somebody who's concerned about traffic issues and speeding on the street?
Somewhat.
Okay.
We basically put together a draft traffic calming policy for citywide that kind of addresses all of the different traffic issues in the city and how that process would work if someone, you know, in front of your home or at a particular location felt that there was a traffic calming issue and there was excessive speeding, how that whole process would work. So we kind of put together a whole draft policy, and at some point, I know we're busy with a lot of other things, we're kind of pushing through the commission right now, but at some point when the city manager is comfortable putting that on, we're gonna bring that to the commission so everyone can actually get input in the workshop. And then the goal is to actually finalize that so we have an actual citywide traffic calming policy, so it's in concrete.
Which is needed, you know, this.
Yeah.
It's very much needed. All of us, and basically all of us get a lot of emails and calls about traffic, right? But basically, the way that we have been addressing it hasn't been uniform or taken into account, you know, considerations and concerns other than one-on-one correspondence that commissioners have. And that's not good. And I think probably as a city, right, we should be trying to put together policies that could be applicable to any particular place. So if you have, you know, like if you have an issue, you know, going forward, like please avail yourself of this policy when we can get it in place. You know, I'd love for you to be the first person who uses it because it'd be a good thing to.
Yeah, well, we did get a couple speed limit signs out of the.
Yeah.
I haven't really done a lot, but we did get a couple of those posted.
So this is F between 10th and 13th?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the raceway. I looked at your paper between the 10th and 11th where I'm at, and 11th Avenue paving, they've been talking about that for so many years that I've been there. It's to pave between A and F. It's somebody's dream.
My dream.
There's an issue on that was before you came on board. 9th and 11th were supposed to be paved back when the MU East zoning district was made, the mixed use district. And the idea was that now, since it was not all residential, but it was residential and commercial, they would need to be able to get ambulances and fire trucks in that neighborhood. So 9th and 11th were to be paved as part of the change to MU East, I think it was. And that was the reason I was all in favor of that rezoning, even though nothing seems to have happened from it because commercial just isn't happening in that area. But that was promised as part of that rezoning, that 9th and 11th would be paved. That's a little ammunition for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
On 19th Avenue, the speeding on that street is bad. From A Street to Dixie Highway, because the people who live on those apartments back there, they want to hit the road, I guess. Yeah.
I was going to bring this suggestion to you guys after this meeting because it didn't really have to do with the bonds. But have you guys considered putting a stop signs at 19th and A Street? Because if you think about it, and I know it's only 2 blocks from 17th, but they really do. Last month, Captain Bear had PVSO out there, and they wrote over 24 tickets in one day from speeders coming from 17th, going up A Street, passing 22nd Avenue in that area that we're always complaining about. And I was driving it the other day and I'm putzing along. Of course, you know, somebody's right on my tail because I'm not quite going fast enough for them, but I live in the neighborhood, so I don't go very fast. But I thought, you know, it would really stop those people coming from Brentwood that blow through the stop sign at 22nd, and they're usually hitting their mark right around that little S curve, and they have to stop there. And then the same thing going in the other direction, because you're picking up speed going around that little S curve, going north on A Street. And I thought that would kind of put a little bit of a damper on it, if that was possible.
We can certainly look into that as part of the design. Sure.
And I thought that might be a pretty good preventative.
Sure. And especially with
From now.
the new development going in,
Yeah.
that maybe it adds.
Absolutely.
Definitely a good suggestion.
I think I mentioned it to Mr. Thompson.
Did you? Okay.
When you say that this is year 2, is there a month, is this from March to March of 19, or what are the dates?
No, the bond program's split up into a four-year program. The city is anxious to get the work started. So even though we probably haven't been working on this for 2 years, they've compressed the schedule towards the front. So it's not really calendar year 2. It's just year 2 work. And I think we're looking at probably at the first of the year. Is that this one? Yeah. After the first of the year?
After the first of 2018?
So the first of
At the beginning.
2018 is year 1, or is that beginning of year 2?
You're asking about when
Year
this would
two.
be going, when
Yeah,
this
when
would
it-
be
when is
started,
year two?
construction? Well, again, it started out the calendar year 1 and 2 and year 3 and 4. But now it's just a label, because we're basically we're working on year 1, we haven't gone to construction yet, but that's gonna go to construction probably before the end of the year. And then year 2, we're just kind of getting started on the design right now for year 2. And that's probably gonna start the construction after the first of the year sometime.
And I think the way that we've explained it with the years, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, is that each of the projects that are assigned per year, we are working to getting those roads within that project completed in a year. So when we begin, like, this is year 2, but it's gonna take 1 year from beginning to end to do that project.
And it's all dependent on the start date.
Right.
Apologize for being late, but just for a quick recap, are you guys planning to make the roads even and finally like fix the potholes around those areas?
Right, so just, the plan is to mill all the roads that we've indicated here, and I can go through. You do have a specific road you want to talk about, or I can...
Richard Lane, 14th Avenue North.
Okay, so in all the roads that are in here, we're gonna mill and overlay, so grind up the first like inch of asphalt and put new asphalt down,
Okay.
do the striping, fix broken curb, fix broken sidewalk. You're on 14th,
Right,
right? So that one, there's 5 houses between Richard and Clark on the south side that have their water services in the back of the house. So we're gonna bring those water services and open cut the street to tie it into existing water main in 14th.
Okay.
So after that's done, then we'll mill and overlay just between Clark and the I-95 sound wall. And then replace all the signs, traffic signs and the street signs.
Okay.
Put some dead end signs at the noise wall, because right now it's just a guardrail, if I remember, with
Yeah.
some fence behind it. So that's pretty much what we're doing
Okay.
down on that end.
My question is because I've been here. I grew up in Lakewood. They've done this project like many years over, and of course, the same people on the seats on the commission wasn't here because they haven't been in office yet. I heard the same story for like 10, 15 years before I became a homeowner in Lake Worth. Who do we hold accountable if it's not done right? Because we, as a taxpayer and as a homeowner and our property taxpayer, I researched that some projects in Lake Worth that were done were not done properly, and the city like forced us to double dip twice. Some projects around 6th Avenue Southward, and it's not our leadership. It wasn't their fault at the time because they had nothing to do with it. But who do we hold them accountable if it's not done right the first time? Because doing roads, if you don't do it right the first time, the potholes, erosion is going to keep coming. It's going to keep adding onto the bill. So who do we hold accountable if it's not done right? You know, because I want this as much as anybody because I do live there. I love the city of Lake Worth. I want it done right the first time, be over it, so you guys can focus on other streets and other neighborhoods that need attention and need nice roads and increase the property value up, of course.
Right. Well, all the design work is being done typically per Florida Department of Transportation design standards.
Okay.
And the contractors that will be doing the work will be required to have the proper licenses and experience to be doing the paving work or the pipeline work or whatever that it is that they're under contract to do.
Okay.
Then the engineers and the city will have inspectors to make sure that the work is being done in accordance with the approved plans.
Okay.
You know, I think that, you know, there's, I can't say there's never been a situation where someone, either in the design at the city, at a contract or whatever, that maybe shortchanged something or halfway did something, but that's not how this project's gonna go. We've got bond money that the city's held accountable for that. There's reporting that has to be done for the bond monies. You can't just say, oh, thanks for the $40 million and not have to do any extensive reporting
Right.
back to how that money's spent. And there's a committee,
Oversight
there's
committee.
an oversight committee.
Yeah,
that-
and also,
that's
let me
looking-
answer your question. I'll be held accountable.
Okay.
Jamie and I want to share the love, but, you know, Jamie and I are both department directors on water and sewer utilities.
Okay.
Jamie's public services. I've been doing this in South Florida for 37 years, been overseeing over $2 billion worth of construction
Okay.
projects in my career in this county alone. And I will make sure that it's done right.
Okay, good.
Overseeing the whole effort, making sure we got the correct professionals in place to do the design work. The contractors that are properly licensed, as Rebecca said, are going to be doing the right thing. And we got inspectors out there all the time. We'll be watching these jobs, make sure everything gets done right. So there's nothing that happened in the past is going to
Right,
happen
right.
on this
Thank you.
program.
You have a card?
I got a few cards. I'll read them up front.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you, I appreciate, I'm just a concerned citizen.
Oh, I
so-
understand, and, you know, we're all excited that, you know, the
Yeah.
funding's there now and that this is moving forward and the city's anxious to advance all the work that's being proposed, not just in District 2, but all the other districts. And we've got a lot of contractors chomping at the bit. They, you know, everybody's excited for the work, you know, and to have it happen because, yeah, there has been neglected areas in not just Lake Worth, but, you know, the economy went down.
Yeah, of
and
course.
Nobody did anything for probably 5 years in a lot of cities, and now funding's there, and we're all ramped up and ready to get going, and, you know, I think everybody's excited, and the other thing I neglected to mention was, one, you know, we have these public meetings now where we're getting, you know, input from everybody on what their concerns are. Then when there's a website, lakeworthroads.com.
Okay.
That's .org.
.org, sorry. Then
It
when
should
the.
be on the flyer.
Yeah, then when the,
That's right.
then when the construction starts, we have a meeting before the construction starts and invite everybody that's gonna be impacted. And when the contractor's out on site, you'll have phone numbers to call the contractor, our inspectors, the city's representatives. You'll be able to go on the website, you'll be able to have a hotline. You can, run out there with your coffee in the morning and yell at the guy, and he's gonna say, what can I do to help you? That's, we're gonna have a lot of public involvement from start to finish. We're not gonna just show up one day with the bulldozers and not
And the plans.
not let you know.
Right, and then actually, when the plans are finalized, we'll also put them on the website.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll have plenty of opportunities, and we hope you do tell us, if there's an issue. We don't want, we want to inconvenience everyone as least as, as little as possible during construction, and, we want to hear from you guys. That's why we're glad when, people show up. We hate to have these meetings and have no one come.
Who put the cards, the things on our houses?
That was our public involvement.
Because mine was on the street.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Well, they can't put it in your mailbox, so did it maybe blow off your doorknob or something?
It wasn't a doorknob thing, it was just a regular piece of paper that just I happened to
Because it's
look
supposed to
at.
be in a plastic baggy-like thing that has a hole in it, hangs on the
It
door.
wasn't on my street.
All right,
Check
we'll
that, yeah.
find out.
How was yours?
And there's probably
It was on
only,
my
as I
door.
said, there's only
Was it
three
in a
of us
plastic
who would
container?
care.
No, it wasn't.
That's
It was
what
just sticking out the
There's only-
doorknob.
There's only 3
We
houses.
never got an
Yeah,
answer for
yeah,
that.
there's something.
It's one family who owns the whole
The
place.
weather.
Well, like on, you mentioned those,
They were gonna stay on
I think it's
year
Crestwood,
two.
those apartments on
Or year
Crestwood,
one, but
we put
then-
on every door in those apartments, we put a notice, so.
Because
No, I just happened to be outside and I saw something on the street and I looked it up. and I
Apologize
said,
for
"Holy
that,
crap."
yeah, I apologize for that. We were hoping to get everybody noticed with their own flyer in a plastic bag on a door hanger, a door hanger plastic bag, so.
Now, when you talk about repairing and replacing curbs only as required, so you're using the same curb design, the sort of the thickened sidewalk design. I mean, there are other curb designs that could
Yeah.
be used.
If we're just taking out 10 or 15 feet of curb because it's broken, we're just gonna match what was there before. We're not gonna put some different type of curb. So the contractor can match the form of it. They can, even if it's like an old-fashioned kind of curb that they don't typically do anymore, they can form that up and
But
match
the
it.
corners will be removed and replaced with
Yeah, at the
code
intersections, yes. That's every intersection will have, basically, as you come around the curb radius, that'll all be taken out, like a pie wedge. And they'll put ramps down so that they're Americans with Disability Act compliant. And then they'll have those yellow rubber mats with the domes on them. That's a standard, DOT standard requirement, and we put that at every intersection that's in the project.
When is the start date?
For construction, probably after the beginning of the year,
For this set of projects.
for this.
This is a year 2 set.
Yeah, so we already had a previous meeting, in June, I believe it was, for year 1 project, which includes 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th Avenue North between A and F.
Okay.
We also did 20th Avenue North from Park to Dead End, whatever that, forget that building back there. And then G from 13th to 10th Avenue North in District 2. Now, there's other projects in District 1, 3, and 4 as well, but this is just District 2.
Okay, so as a residents, when you guys start construction on Richard Lane, are you gonna work on one lane at a time, split the road up in one lane so we can get in and out to work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you'll, the engineer, we decide to tell the contractor, okay, here's how we want you to make sure these people can get in and out. You can only close one lane, one side of the road at a time, or if you have, let's say they have to dig a trench, which they don't really have to on your street, but they would have to have a flagman maybe and help people get around the equipment and close it, you know, and at the end of the night, they can't leave any trenches open regardless of what they were working on that day, because that's just too much liability for cars.
So you'll be able to access that road during the
Right.
evening.
Right. And then the contractor will have a maintenance of traffic plan for any work he's doing in the road to, and as I was saying before you got here, they make sure the garbage man can get in there, the mail delivery, emergency vehicles. If you have any special circumstances at your house, you can contact us and we'll make sure that, you know, you can get in and out. You might have to park your car on maybe in front of, you know, in your driveway and instead of the street or something like that, but we'll make sure you can get in and out.
Okay.
And we'll also be creating construction flyers too during that period of time that's instructional. Again, if you have any questions, there's the hotline, and also you can email on the website.
Yeah, and then if you're one of the houses that they're moving your water service, you'll get a notice from the contractor. In 2 days, your water's gonna be, you know, disconnected and you'll be, you know, for X amount of hours or whatever. You know, they'll tell you, they'll notice you, you know, a little bit in advance, a couple days in advance, if that's what they're gonna be doing for the switch over.
Thank you.
So we're gonna get better showers.
I would think so. If you're on a 2-inch water main and you're getting a big water main, yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, and I think that was one of the, actually on 18th, that was part of the issue. They knew that this area up here in the northwest was it low pressure?
Deficient in fire flow.
Okay, so not enough fire flow, so that's part of the reason they're doing a water main up there, was that the city recognized there was an issue.
Yeah, it's always in my neighborhood. It's an issue.
I just want to make sure that I'm on record for saying I definitely prefer bump outs, bulb outs all along F Street, ideally with trees, rather than just straight.
Okay.
Yes, I agree.
Right. Anything else? Any other questions or comments? I'm glad you all came. As I said, we want to hear everyone's comments and suggestions. It helps us make a better project.
Thank you.
All right. If everybody wants to sign our sign-in sheet, if you, so we have your email address in case you notice you further issues. Thanks for coming.